Satan entered into the company of the disciples. Some even believe that 1 out of the 12, they say even in the church, 1 out of every 12 is probably the devil. I didn't say I believe that, but certainly we know that in the disciples, these are men that Jesus called. These are men who had the privy of being in the closed circle with Jesus. And yet Judas was able to Satan was able to enter into Judas and get Judas to betray Christ. And we hear that story, but what we forget about, he also tried to get Peter. And in the same chapter 22 and verse 31, Jesus is the one who lets Peter know what was going on behind the scene. Peter, Satan is desiring to have you. And he wants to sift you as wheat. But I have prayed for you. You see, we remember Judas, but we forget that he also tried to get Peter as well. Can you imagine what would have happened if he had been able to be successful in getting Peter? Listen to what Paul says in 2 Corinthians 11. Turn there with me. 2 Corinthians 11 gives us further revelation on the enemy that we face. In 2 Corinthians 11, it lets us know of a strategy that he has. We have to be mindful of. We'll start at verse 13 of 2 Corinthians 11. And verse 13. For such are false apostles, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into the apostles of Christ. And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. Therefore, it is no great thing if his ministers also be transformed, as the ministers of righteousness, whose end shall be according to their works. The key word in verse 13 and 14 is the word transform. It is the word in the original metamorpho. And what is a metamorphosis? Something that is able to have the ability to change its appearance. The caterpillar and the butterfly, where an appearance, an actual different appearance, yet you got the same thing. What takes place? A metamorphosis. And so God has revealed to us that he has the ability to transform himself. That in the very presentation, it's going to be him, but he's able to look totally different. That's how he's able to deceive. So you and I have to be careful. Jesus warns us of this. He says, beware of wolves that come in sheep clothing. Oh, they look like sheep. Or they act like sheep. But they're wolves. So you have to give time. That's why permanent relationships take time. Don't hurry up and get to know somebody and enter into a long-term agreement with them, whether it's marriage or whatever. It takes time to get to know. He says you'll know them by their fruit. It takes a while to be able for fruit to grow. You don't know what you have until you see the fruit. And so it says he has that ability. So these are the things that we're reminded of that have been revealed to us from the scripture. Paul lets us know, however, that we have the responsibility of fighting. We've got to fight. This is one of the things I appreciate about my dad. My dad was a big man. He was tall. He was about 6'5". He was very athletic. He played Negro League baseball. first base for the Cleveland Athletics. I was able to show the Dargins his contract, made $15 a year, that covered the cleaning of the uniforms, all of that stuff. Some of you saw me play baseball, you say, well, it didn't rub off on you. But one thing that I did get from my father, he taught my brothers and I how to fight. I appreciate that. So I